We are standing inside the Space Vehicle Maka facility here at the Johnson Space Center. Now, this is where the astronauts and the crews actually train inside all these modules you're seeing before they fly up to the International Space Station. Not only do they get to practice inside the laboratories and the nodes, but they actually get to practice on some of the experiment racks as well. Brion Au joins us. He's one of the payload developers for one of those experiments, which I actually think is one of the more cooler ones, which is EarthKAM. Now, this is the only student-run experiment on board the International Space Station where they actually have direct access into this camera system. Talk a bit about what it is and what they do.
That's correct. EarthKAM is a payload by students for students. It was initiated by Sally Ride back when the shuttle was still flying, and we've since then migrated over to the space station.
Yeah.
And we've operated about 38 times, and we continue to operate for about 4 weeks, about 4 times per year.
Okay. So let's talk a bit about how it works. Basically, students get to see a map of the Earth. There's about, like you said, 4 times a year.
Correct.
Stretches for about 4 days apiece, and they get to take a look at a map of where the station's going to be flying over and say, hey, I want a picture of whatever they want, whether it's their hometown or whatever city they want to look at, right?
That's correct, yes. They have to ensure that the station is actually passing over the target that they're trying to acquire through products that are available via the web pages out at the University of California, San Diego. We show the orbit tracks,
right.
And what they do is you can auger down into the map that's directly underneath that orbit track, and let's say it does pass over Johnson Space Center. The data will provide the time, the instant that the station is directly overhead, and you can take that information and plug it into an information request and literally request an image.
They're in charge.
They are in charge, yes.
So let's talk a bit about what the crew does. Now, this rack would actually be in the floorboard of the space station, right? It's on the bottom, facing, obviously facing the Earth.
That's correct. This is in the deck, and the deck 3 position of the U.S. lab.
Destiny.
And the window that's inside actually looks down over the Earth, and it's actually covered up by a shutter that we're now opening. And so as the station flies overhead, they can see out the lab window.
Yeah.
It's a 20-inch wide, very, very high quality glass, very flat, with a very high transmittant rate for the light that passes through it.
Talk about the importance of that. Now, this is not just your regular glass you find inside your house or your car or something. I mean, this does not bend wavelengths. There's no smudges. There's no. It has to be very, very scientifically clear. Right?
We call it a window, but in a sense, it's a flat lens system. The wave fronts of the glass are very, very flat, so there is no aberration caused by the light passing through it. As I said earlier, the transmittant rate is extremely high, so you can place very high quality science instruments on the payload support shelf in the wharf, the Window Observational Research Facility, and do some intensive studying of the Earth. It's terrestrial. It only looks down at the Earth. So it is a very, very high dollar, very high quality window that looks back down on the Earth.
So once the crew gets it set up, it's kind of autonomous at that point. Basically it has the commands that are sent to this laptop, one like we've got right here in front of us, which is just on board, just a regular laptop.
Correct.
And this is what actually controls the camera, right?
Correct, yes. The crew will establish the camera mount, position the camera on board. They connect it to the laptop via the USB cable, turn everything on, and then we'll start the EarthKAM software, which you see here. And the files, the image requests that the students will process via the web pages out at UCSD actually get uplinked to the laptop, and this is just a station support computer.
Yeah.
And the software will read that camera control file into memory, and then as the station gets to that particular point in time, it will tell the camera to snap a picture.
Snaps away.
And then downloads it to the laptop, and then in reverse, just the way we put the camera control file on board, it will bring the image down to the ground and get posted on the UCSD webpage.
You guys have been doing this since Expedition 2, so it's been going for quite a while. You were telling me that you've taken 40,000, almost 40,000 pictures. Or
we're a little over 40,000.
That's impressive.
Yes, and they were all taken by students, and we've operated 38 times, of course, from increment 2 on, and we're currently at increment 30 right now. We've had thousands of students, teachers and parents, homeschools, summer camps for science summer camps participating. So it's a well-used, extremely neat payload, only because students are controlling it. It's not a byproduct of an investigator's detailed science.
We talked about this a few minutes ago, that, you know, we look back at Apollo 8 and a lot of those missions, and, you know, we were going to the moon, but we always talk about the Earthrise picture, the blue marble picture that Apollo 17 took. Those are the ones that are probably some of the most powerful images that we've ever taken as NASA. Why is it that, and we've seen it on the station too, why is it that images of our own planet really are what capture people's hearts and minds?
I wish I really knew, but it's a feeling, like when I was a kid, I'd climb a tree to look out and look down. If there's a tall building nearby, people want to go to the top floor and look out and look down. Well, this system provides a viewpoint that the astronauts have. They're extremely high, looking back down, and it's just awe-inspiring of what you see in the pictures.
Well, and it's our home.
That's where we live, yes.
Yeah, the astronauts talk about that, you know, they look down and that's their entire lives are down on that planet, and then it's you're sort of looking back, you know, at home base. But this is a fascinating experiment rack here. I mean, I know the students are enjoying it.
They do. Of the thousands of students that have participated, they will start, typically we target junior high, middle school students. And we actually have a few of those students who worked at UCSD actually working here at Johnson Space Center now.
So they're actually taking part in this, even though they were young students actually controlling these cameras. Now they're here.
Undergrad students participating, supporting the program, and now they're actually here at Johnson Space Center working.
That is fascinating work. Yes. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining us.
And you're welcome.
It's been very cool to see this actually in person. You know, we'll put down at the bottom of the screen here the website that you can go to take a look at some of the imagery that the students have captured over the years. You might be able to see your own hometown on there. And of course, if you'd like to take a look at some of those images as well as some of the pictures that the astronauts themselves have captured, you can always log on to nasa.gov/station.